Hello, and thank you for visiting the Duke Career Center Career Hub. During this session, we will discuss budgeting after accepting your first job. At any point, you can feel free to pause the video to view the slides in their entirety or take any notes you may need to make. So let's jump into it. Congratulations, you've just landed that job. Now that you've negotiated your salary, the next feat is to set up your finances. During this session, we will discuss the first steps to get you started on the right financial path. Budgets. Let's talk about it. So it will be nice when you get that first paycheck, but those funds can go very quickly. This is why it's important to set a budget. Within your budget, you want to think about the things that you need versus the things that you want. So for your fixed monthly bills, you want to make a list. It could be your rent, a car payment, cell phone, student loans, or any credit card debt. These costs typically remain consistent and they're paid at a regular interval, whether it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, or twice a year. Variable monthly bills. These are bills that you're going to cover each month, but the amounts may vary. It's just dependent upon the decisions that you make. You may decide to take in a concert with some friends or thinking about your vehicle maintenance, from regular oil changes to just putting gas in every week. You also want to consider your personal care. How many times a month will you visit the barbershop or the hair salon? And then eating out. It may mean you have to cut back on some of your visits to Starbucks or whatever place you like just so that you can remain on budget. So let's put it all together. What does this really mean? You want to organize your spending into categories. Budget for your fixed expenses first, such as the housing or the car payments we discussed. It's important to ensure that these are covered first before you begin looking at your variable expenses. Also, create a database to help you track your spending habits. This will allow you to target areas for reduced spending if it's your goal to save more money each month. Also, consider the 50-30-20 rule. This rule can aid in budgeting for fixed and variable expenses. It calls for allotting 50% of your money to be set aside for the things that you need, 30% for non essential things, and 20% for savings. So let's just take a look at a couple of examples. On the left, you will see that there was 4,500 take home in wages. And then on each side, they listed each category: mortgage, groceries, bills, emergency funds, which we'll get to later, or that new car fund. To the right, you will see a monthly budget that's a bit more detailed. You'll have your income. You may be working one job, or you may also be doing some consulting. You want to make sure that you are accounting for all of the income that's coming in. Then you'll see your expenses under that. Those, again, are the things that we talked about: your mortgage or rent payments, your car payments, life insurance or health insurance. At the top right, you'll see your debt. So these will be your credit cards, store cards, or your student loans. And then there are those flexible expenses. You may be saving for that fabulous vacation that you've been waiting on, or you may have to buy a gift for someone. The main thing is you want to make sure that you're able to budget for how much you need and then account for how much you actually paid out. This particular budget also accounts for money that's not spent. So you want to make sure that you have it allocated to a certain space, whether it's savings or whether it goes into your vacation fund. So now that we've talked about setting a budget, let's jump into savings. So we're going to talk about monthly, retirement, and emergency savings. So for your monthly savings, you want to subtract monthly expenses from your net pay. This will help you decide your discretionary income. From here, you can think about how much you want to save each month. Remember, if you find that you're not saving as much as you want, take a look at your variable expenses to see what areas you can cut back on. Once you've settled on the amount, be sure to add this to your fixed monthly bills. A great idea would be to set up an automatic transfer to your savings account to avoid any impulse shopping. Retirement funds. This is very important. If your company offers a 401k retirement savings plan, sign up as soon as possible. If they don't, you will want to look into a Roth or a traditional individual retirement fund. Be sure that you speak with a financial advisor to select the best option for you. Remember that contributions to this account will come from your paycheck. However, if you delay and you become accustomed to your full pay, it may be harder to reallocate money into your retirement at a later time. If you can't contribute a lot in the beginning, it's all right. Start small and keep these things in mind. Consider the minimum contribution to get your employer's best matching rate, or a 1% increase to your contribution every quarter. Also, if you get any raises, consider placing a portion of that into your retirement account as well. Ultimately, you want to reassess your budget regularly to be sure you're putting away as much money for the future. Now, emergencies. Life can happen. The car can break down, you may have an unexpected medical emergency, or the washing machine might stop working. This is why it's important to have a plan for emergencies. Since you're just starting out, it's okay to start small. Ultimately, your goal is to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved. Now, once you're able to achieve this, you may want to move that money into an account that's not linked to your checking account to avoid any unnecessary purchases or quick transfers. So, let's talk about limiting our debt and building the credit. So, there are different methods for paying the bills. Now, there's a snowball method, which focuses on paying off the smallest balances first, which can lead to a sense of accomplishment. Then there's the avalanche method that focuses on attacking the highest interest debt first, which can save more money in the end. Be sure that you choose what works for you and what works for your budget. Now, while you're using and paying off a credit card on a regular basis, that can help build your credit, but it's also smart to avoid making any purchases that you're unable to pay immediately. Also, take advantage of the grace period before you're required to start paying back your student loans. This is a great time to cut that credit card debt. But just most importantly, just make sure that you have set up a plan so that after you got your emergency fund situated, you can then attack your debt. So there are a few additional resources available for you. If you're interested in learning more about personal finance, head on over to the Personal Finance at Duke website. There you will have access to a plethora of resources on the areas we covered, along with so much more. There's also interactive platforms such as Cash Course to help you on your journey of financial management. You also have the ability to schedule an appointment to address more in-depth questions you may have about your situation. No matter how careful you are, your finances can get off track from time to time, and it's okay. But if you take the time to create a budget you can stick to and then readjust as needed, you will develop a smart financial habit that will surely serve you well for years to come.